Parasyte hasn't gone downhill, but it has a significant downgrade from the previous weeks, and that's for reasons that I can easily state. Even though I know that this isn't a shonen, you don't hype up a battle for half of an episode to almost an entire episode to end the battle in 3 minutes in the next episode. And this was specifically what I was concerned about last week going into this episode, because I had a feeling that the fight was going to be anticlimactic like all the other fights that we've had, and you just don't do that. You don't hype up a battle for a full okay, let's go with this half of an episode to end it in the first 5 minutes of the next episode. And that's not counting the intro, that's not counting the opening. Well, technically, it was over by 5 minutes of the opening, so I guess we could. Spoiler alert for Tokyo Ghoul. Please skip to the timestamp on screen. Timestamp on screen if you don't want to get spoiled on this. So the thing that this reminds me of is Hinami's mother's death from Tokyo Ghoul, and it's a perfect analogy because they cut off the most suspenseful part, my bad, of the episode, and then put it in another episode when it took less than like 3 minutes, and that just kills suspense. You go into this episode expecting there being like, okay, so this has got to be a pretty long battle if they had to fit it into another episode. But they finish it in under 5 minutes. It's just a really anticlimactic series. And the problem with this is that even though I know it's not a shonen, like I said, you don't hype something up this much. And the sad thing is that apparently to the manga readers, from what I've heard, some of these battles are literally like 2 panels. And that's not an exaggeration. They're just 2 panels and that's it. So that's just really disappointing, and I think that's going to be the problem with this series. I think that's going to be the main issue, because it has a tendency, because it's a psychological anime, to make things suspenseful, but give you very little to no payoff. Well, it's not no payoff. That would be like the first half of Fate Zero, where it's just like nobody dies. But more so, it's very little payoff for the hype that's been built up to the moment, and I think that that's an issue. Then the other thing that I had a problem with this episode were the time skips. There were like 5 or 6 time skips. There was, I think I have a list of them. I don't have like the exact times, but I have like where they were generally in the episode. There was a time skip at the beginning. There were 2 time skips near the middle, and there were 2 time skips at the end. So the thing is that it's not that the time skips are going to make me knock the grade off of the anime like by a full point. It's just that you don't... The problem with time skips like that, look at Kids on the Slope. It's because it becomes hard to follow a story, and it's not the time skips themselves. It's the fact that they're so abrupt. It's just like you'll be staring at Shinichi, then you'll look 5 days later. Or there was one part in the episode where after, what's her name? I don't even remember. The purple-haired woman had jumped out of the building. We saw Shinichi in his bed saying that he couldn't get out of bed, when we were just like, wasn't he just at the school? This doesn't make sense. Then you piece things together and you figure out, hey, it was a time skip, and you get the point. I wanted to give an example. Overall, it wasn't a bad episode. It just had problems compared to the other weeks. Madhouse put a budget clearly into this, because it did look really good. It had a nice depth of field effect, and there were no censors. But that's all presentation-wise, and there wasn't really too much to talk about besides that. There are people creating theories and things of that sort, and I'm assuming that after this, because his parents have left, he can be not necessarily reckless, but a little more free with what he wants to do, so that's going to be something. And that girl that he likes, I think her name is Morino, is probably going to get involved with this somehow, now that his parents are gone. She's probably going to hang out with him more. Just throwing predictions out there. I do like how Shinichi is developing as a character. Spanking the monkey, best thing. And he's just an interesting protagonist overall, and I don't know what it is about his design, but it doesn't seem generic. even though it's just a guy with glasses, it doesn't seem generic, and I don't know why that is. It kind of stands out in a sense. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Deuces.